Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Robby Foley. Of course, will be one of the drivers of the '96 Turner BMW for Turner Motorsport in GTD. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Awesome to be back. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, just talk about just overall how this just getting ready for this race, another season. Lots of changes. Of course, there's going to be two full-time cars for Turner this year, so it'll be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting times at Turner Motorsport. The team's expanding very quickly. We had 6 total cars at the Roar, so 2 GTD cars, 95 and 96, 2 GS cars, also 95 and 96, and then 2 cars in the new VP Challenge. So it was a hectic weekend for the team, but great to be back at Daytona. And yeah, for myself, really looking forward to this year. I got upgraded at the end of last year to gold, so Bill and I had to split up in order to still race in GTD. But so on one hand, that's kind of a sad, weird thing because we've had so many great years together, lots of great memories, lots of wins. Yeah, we're still great friends and teammates, obviously, but now we're in 2 different cars. He'll be in the 95 car in the GTD Pro class, and I'll be in the 96 full season with Patrick Gallagher this year.
Yeah, so yeah, Patrick Gallagher, of course. If you watched NASCAR the past few years, you'll know that name. Of course, he was with I believe it was with the Sieg team,
Yep.
Xfinity. So of course, yeah, getting the I know he's been trying to get a chance to run that car. But how exciting is it to have a new teammate with Patrick?
Yeah, it's cool. Patrick and I have been good friends for years. I'm trying to think when we met, probably 2012 or 2013. We were both kind of in the same spaces. We worked a lot together at Monticello Motor Club and raced with or against each other. Actually, I've never been his teammate. We've raced against each other many times, but always were good friends. And it was cool for this opportunity, to come up. We have great support from Bellhaven Investments and Liqui for Daytona, and yeah, looking forward to the year. Now it's cool we get to work together instead of against each other. So a different dynamic for sure, but I know he's up for the challenge, and also happy to have Michael Dinan back with us for the endurance races, and then our good German buddy Jens Klingman for Daytona. So shaping up to be a good year.
Yeah, lots of familiar faces as well, and of course, a lot of familiar BMW faces. And also new drivers for the 95 as well. And well, why not just go get John Edwards while we're at? Of course, John was on here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. I had the pleasure of sharing a car with John at the Indy 8-hour end of last year, and yeah, I think all the drivers in BMW are pretty close and good buddies. They're all great guys. So yeah, the 95 is a great crew with Bill, Chandler, John, and Bruno Spangler to kind of put together a good team for GTD Pro. So across the 2 cars, everybody's working well together. Everybody's, there's plenty of jokes and laughs going around, but also very serious. So yeah, I think as a team, we're really looking forward to the race. The team has 2 shots to win, in Pro and GTD. So what more could you ask for?
Yeah. This is your 6th Rolex. Hard to believe this is. You've been doing this. You've been doing this for quite a while. Unlike not like a few others, but overall, you've been in this race for quite a while.
Yeah. It's looking back, it's kind of crazy. It feels like just yesterday. But yeah, I started. My first one was 2018, and then coming to 2023. So I guess this will be my 6th start. And yeah, this race hasn't always been super kind to me, but we've always kind of been there or thereabouts. We finished 6th many times, so it's my 6th time. So hopefully I don't finish 6th on my 6th Rolex 24. But yeah, I think we have a good package. We know the car at this point. Last year was a new car to us, so we've learned a lot about that. Have a great team behind us, so we're gonna give it all we can and see how we go.
Yeah, it's what's it to just take to run this race? I mean, to be a part of this, trying to manage everything inside the car and outside the car. What do you think is hardest? I've been asking a lot of drivers this question.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I mean, there's so many things, and on the surface, it's 24 hours, but it is very, very demanding and challenging, especially depending on your stints and how you can sleep. But if odds are you don't get more than an hour or or 2 of sleep during the race. If you're lucky, you'll get 4 to 6. So besides that, you have to do many stints in the car, many hours pushing. You have nights, you have a big change in weather conditions, which I don't know if it's talked about enough, but when you have a car set up for the day and it goes into night and then back to day, you're talking about sometimes a swing of 40, 50 degrees ambient in temperature, which changes how the car works massively. So you really have to dot your I's and cross your T's. And I always take the approach of surviving the first 18 hours and then treat it like a 6-hour race at the end. So I think, especially with 60 cars this year, 61 cars, I think staying out of trouble is going to be a huge thing. And then if you're there or thereabouts at the end, you can fight for the win.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is also you talk about those temperatures. Remember how cold it was last year? Trying to manage all that. Well, the thing is, I mean, I just literally just hopped on this handy dandy weather app, and it's gonna be in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
And so a little bit
better.
this should be normal this weekend. But what's it gonna be like? Possibly running in maybe normal temperature, because it was like wasn't it in like the 30s last year?
I think it was as low as 30 or just about freezing. So the tires, as you can imagine, they're designed to work in harsh, high temperatures, right? We put a lot of stress through them. Michelin does a great job building a tire that takes a lot of abuse. So it's meant to operate in a certain temperature window. And when you go below that, the tire is basically rock hard. So the hardest part of the whole thing is the outlaps, because the tire doesn't really work until you get some kind of temperature going in it. So you're basically crawling. You're about probably 15 seconds a lap slower for the first lap, just maybe even 20, because you're literally crawling, trying not to go off the track until you can just get the tire to fire in, and then it's more normal. So a normal temperature range will make it easier for everybody. It'll be interesting to see with the GTP cars. They have to double stint tires, and their tires are also in having to double stint them pretty hard. So their outlaps are going to be interesting, and it'll take them a while to get going. But for sure, it's definitely beneficial for everybody to not have freezing temperatures.
Yeah. How do you think last season went for you?
In general, it was quite good. I mean, we had a new car from BMW, which was great. We got a win in it and many podiums. We had a couple things that kept us from really contending in the championship. I would say one was Daytona, just not finishing. The thing is, there's so many cars for Daytona. Obviously, it's one of the biggest races in the world. Everybody wants to participate, but equally, if you have a DNF, it's a big points delta from first to last. So I think we have 25 cars in GTD. On average, we'll have something in the teens, like 16, let's say. So if you finish 25th, it's basically like not showing up, So I think we need to have a good points finish here at Daytona, and a couple things last year with basically just little teething issues that weren't really our fault per se, that we now know how to rectify. But for a new car, I mean, the M4 GT3 won on every continent, I think, in every championship it raced at some point. So we're quite happy with the car and how it's developing. Daytona is going to be a lot down to BOP, but I think looking back last year, we had a great season, nothing to complain about.
Yeah. And of course this year, it's lots of new changes. Of course, obviously you're still in GTD. Of course, you got upgraded to gold. So kind of explain to people the gold status. What does that do?
Yeah. So in sports car racing, there's what's called the driver rating system, from bronze up to platinum, and I think it was created to try to entice gentlemen drivers to participate at a high level. So different categories of racing have different rules. Some classes like LMP2 and LMP3 require a bronze driver, whereas GTD requires a silver. GTD Pro is open. You can have whoever you want, and same as GTP, etc. So I was previously a silver ranked driver, which is kind of, you're in the middle. You're on paper considered an amateur, but there's a wide range of, let's say, situations of silver. So to make a long story short, in GTD, you have to have a silver and a gold. So Bill and I were paired together. I was the silver, he was the gold. I got upgraded to gold, which basically meant we had to run GTD Pro if Bill and I were going to stay together, or split us and run GTD with two separate cars. The way it worked out is Bill will run GTD Pro with Chandler, John, and Bruno for Daytona in the endurance races, and Chandler and Bill will run GTD for the sprints. But that all sounds super complicated, but just to simplify it, what it means for me is now I've been upgraded to gold. I think it happened at the right time for me, where I had a 10-year with Turner and BMW to prove myself. A lot of drivers struggle with the upgrade when they're a little bit unestablished in that regard. So I was super fortunate for that. And today was just announced I signed an official deal with BMW. So I'm happy to be an official BMW driver now, in addition to being upgraded to gold. So the timing for me was very good. And I'm hoping to, continue the success that we've had in the past and have a great year.
Yeah, talk about just how much Bill Oberlin has meant to you in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking at it, when I first knew I was going to be teammates, then it was a little bit strange. I remember vividly being a kid at Lime Rock, being 7 years old, watching Bill race in ALMS GT2 back in the day, and obviously for BMW forever, even going back to the prototypes. I've been a huge race fan my whole life. So it was surreal at that stage to drive with him. And then over the years, we just developed a good relationship. I think we're very honest with each other, and we helped push each other. At the beginning, definitely I leaned on Bill for more things, and just seeing how he works and how he acts and how he gets the most out of himself. At the time we started driving together, I was pretty green and I didn't know much about GTD and GT3 racing, where he had 20 plus years in GT cars. So just the ability to be a sponge basically and absorb his knowledge was invaluable. And as we progressed through the years, I think I kind of found my feet properly midway through 2019 and 2020, but really 2021 and 22, we could really help each other and push the team and ourselves forward. So it's a little sad to not share the car with him still, but I know that we'll push the team forward still and help each other with the car setup and development. And I'm sure at some point we'll have a battle on track, which we already have had in other series in the SRO and stuff last year. But I guess it's a chapter closed. But at the same time, I don't think much is going to change with our relationship or how we work with the team.
Last thing, what's it going to take to win the Rolex 24?
Yeah, it's going to take good execution from the team and from ourselves. I think we have a great group of people. We've added some guys on the timing stand this year with great experience to help with the two-car effort. We have Jay O'Connell still leading our engineering team. He has a lot of experience with BMWs, running the factory team, and he's been with Multimatic off and on. He's got a great history, IndyCar, Formula One. So we're really lucky to have Jay. Don Salama, our strategist, is one of the best, and if not the best on pit lane, and still there. And we've added Eric Peterson to help facilitate running the 95, and he'll be a great addition also to help Jay develop the car. So I'm excited about that. I know the team will perform well, and as drivers, we just have to stay out of trouble, not scratch the car, and be fast. As everybody knows these days, BOP is super critical. And considering Daytona, so much of Daytona has been flat out, full throttle. A lot of our fate will be set by BOP as always. But the first goal obviously is to win the race. It's the biggest race of the year. But secondarily, we want to have a good points finish. So I would just dot I's and cross T's and see how we go.
All right. Well, Robby, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. And best of luck at Daytona. Best of luck this season. And congratulations on becoming the newest BMW factory driver.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.